Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so there was a comment from Corey Sherman, and he said something along the lines of, check out the description for exactly what he said, but he thinks that it looks like Tudor has started doing this sort of the vintage thing in terms of watches. And he asked the question, will Rolex ever do that? Will Rolex ever go vintage? And he seemed to think that Rolex won't. And I totally agree. I don't think Rolex will ever go vintage. And I think the nod to their past is through the naming schemes and the functions and the numbers and little things, but they seem to be a very forward-thinking company, and they really don't seem to want to rehash the past. They just want to progress into the future, and they really do have Tudor to do that. And so Tudor does fill that market for the people like myself who like the vintage models more. Would it be a good idea if Rolex revisited the past? Well, it would be hugely popular, but would it devalue the brand? And I think if they did it too much, of course it would. If they, pulled a Speedmaster move, and they wouldn't do that. But they would have to be very sparing, and it's sort of just something that they haven't done, to my knowledge, and I don't think they ever will. And I think Tudor is there for that. I think that's part of what Tudor does. Tudor's interesting. I mean, if you go to the websites and it's a completely different look and it's a completely different vibe, and Rolex is really going for this, this high quality, luxury, expensive, wealthy sort of snob appeal. And they haven't completely gotten away from their tool watch roots, but they've strayed quite far from it. And you see little even on the tool watches, the polished middle links and well, that's one thing, but and the sort of the shininess of the Serichrome bezel. Their tool watches gone upmarket. That could be used in a tool watch situation, but it'd almost be silly to. I mean, diving with you could dive with a Sea Dweller, no problem. It'd be cool to dive with one. There's so many better functional options, digital, computers on your wrist that probably would be much more conducive to diving. But But anyway, back to Tudor. It's a completely different vibe when you go to the websites, and it's a more I want to say it's more youthful, but it's more how would I say it, down to earth, not as haughty as Rolex says, and I don't mind that. I mean, I think if you were to come at Rolex without any sort of historical perspective in 2018, the brand could kind of turn you off, because it does have that snob appeal, and they're really going for that elitism vibe. But to me, that's what Rolex has become, and it's not what Rolex started out as, and what it was. And so when I look at Rolex, even though it's largely become that, I still see uh, its origins and what it was 50 years ago, and what it did throughout those decades, and so forth. And so um, I guess I forgive it a bit, that uh, snobbery, um, but it's getting harder to for me, and I would like to like Rolex more than I do. If I could flip a switch and all of a sudden appreciate polished middle links and bigger cases and maxi dials and shiny Cerachrome bezels, um, perhaps I would, because then I could still have my Rolex history and my Rolex heritage and my modern Rolexes as well. Um, but I just can't. And a lot of people complimented that Yoshinori's big date just, and it is a nice watch. It's a nice watch. I mean, I can't deny that. But it's it's an aesthetic that I can't see eye to eye with, and I find myself liking Tudor more aesthetically. Um, but yeah, it's weird. I mean, I'm slightly saddened that uh, that Rolex doesn't appeal to me. I haven't shed tears over it. I don't think I'm going to, but I feel like Rolex is going in a direction. I feel like it's going in a direction much like maybe a girlfriend you have that's just a fantastic friend and almost your best friend, and you realize she's going in this direction and you're going in this direction, and you love her to death, but you can't see eye to eye. You see no future, and I feel like that's the case with modern Rolexes, with me. And the new Pepsi is good, but great, some would say, but I find myself trying to like it despite aspects of it, trying to forgive aspects of it. And that could be said of the BLNR and almost I think there are a few that are not part of that. I mean, the Explorer, okay, the just straight up Explorer. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's great. Hey, no problem there. No problem. The Air King, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm more partial to the Explorer. Still date just. Again, I like the vintage ones a little bit more, but yeah. So it is a shame that they're going in a direction that I'm not partial to, and it looks like Tudor is sort of more the aesthetic that I like. Now, a double propped heli is what that is. There you go. All right, so yeah, will Rolex ever go vintage? No, Tudor will. Tudor's their outlet for that. Rolex will. Rolex is just going. It's going further and further up market, and that's that's where they're headed. Uh, and there's still some good pieces. The Explorer, the Explorer is probably one of the best pieces in my opinion, because it's like old Rolex. In fact, that is a fantastic piece. Um, but um, but in the future, more upmarket, more blingy, more fancy. And am I ready to become a Tudor man? Not really. I don't know. I'm That's sort of a different video. But I will say that I like the aesthetic of Tudor more. So, um, Tudor is more fun. Um, they're not as stodgy and conservative. The website's better. You could do this virtual tour of this new Black Bay GMT. That's so cool. There's nothing like that on um, on the Rolex site. There's nothing that interactive. There's nothing that interesting. It's a really conservative site. It's something that would probably appeal to an older gentleman that you know um, where perhaps websites are threatening, and my God, like, what do I click? There's all these moving things, and there are these buttons and stuff, and everything's more simple with Rolex, more conservative. Is it trying to appeal to the older generation? Possibly, that's possibly it. Anyway, yeah, it's um, that's not to say I'm giving up on Rolex. I mean, there are still amazing vintage pieces, mid 90s, early 2000 pieces out there. It's not like those are going to dry up anytime soon, but that is sad. Once they're gone, and in 30 years, what's the used market going to be like for Rolexes? I mean, they're already starting to get almost unobtainable depending on what models you're talking about. But yeah, I'm a I'm a I'm a 5-digit Rolex guy. Anyway, yeah, let me know what you think of this, and are you cool with the aesthetic that Rolex seems to be headed towards, the pomp and the fancy and the luxury and whatnot, or what do you guys think of Tudor? Is Tudor still a poor man's Rolex? I don't think it is. It's filling a completely different niche, I think. But I'd be interested to hear your opinions. And will I become a Tudor guy in the future? I'm certainly a Tudor fan, but will I be a Tudor owner? Hmm. I don't know. I genuinely am on the fence about that. Or will I continue to be a 5-digit guy and just go 5-digit? Who knows? I've already said that I'm not going to get any more Rolexes, so you're probably like, you already told us you're out of the game. I don't know if you can ever get out of the game. You can at least, well, you always have to just look. Anyway, take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.